New trouble for the president and his family. New York Times reporting that federal prosecutors are also looking into whether foreigners donated to Trump's super PAC as well as his inaugural committee. The Wall Street Journal broke the news last night of the criminal investigation to the latter. Now remember, Trump's inaugural committee raised a really stunning amount of money. Look at that bar up there. That's $107 million, or twice as much as the next highest total. And the inaugural committee has publicly identified vendors for only $61 million spent, leaving more than $40 million unaccounted for. And now ProPublica and WNYC has more on that money. It doesn't look great for the first daughter. Quote, during the planning, Ivanka Trump, the president-elect's eldest daughter and a senior executive of the Trump organization, was involved in negotiating the price that the Trump Hotel charged the 58th Presidential Inaugural Committee for venue rentals. A top inaugural planner emailed Ivanka and others at the company to express my concern that the hotel was overcharging for its event spaces, worrying of what would happen when this is audited. Joining me now, the co-author of that report, Ilya Marritz. He is a reporter at WNYC and co-host of WNYC and ProPublica's Trump Inc. podcast. Wow, what an email.
Yeah, when we got that email, I thought, okay, I've been looking at this inauguration for many months. I've thought for a long time that there is a bigger story to be told. Now we have something.
So walk me through this. So you've got the inaugural committee is raising all this money. It's going to spend the money to put on the inauguration. And Ivanka Trump is playing what role now?
Okay, so an inaugural committee is kind of a very precise thing. It's like a very quick startup that you have to start up and then shut down very quickly and raise a ton of money, but just the exact amount of money to put on the parties. You don't really want leftover money.
It's not a campaign. You're not going to run again in 4 years.
Exactly,
right?
And previous planners have all told me that they tried to avoid the appearance of pay-to-play or conflicts of interest. They really tried to limit donations and keep things above board. This inaugural did not limit the size of donations and seemingly diverged from the rulebook in other places too. What I can tell you about Ivanka's role is actually only what is in the emails. What we know from the emails is that Rick Gates,
yes,
pleaded guilty to conspiracy, was a senior person in the inauguration. He was a big person on finances, had approval of a lot of the spending. Ivanka put him in touch with a manager at the Trump Hotel to get a better price quote on 4 days of events at the hotel. That manager came back with $175,000 a day, or $700,000 for the 4 days that they were looking at. Then, and Rick Gates seemed to be happy with this. Then one of the inaugural planners who they had actually hired to do this thing and evaluate these numbers said, these numbers are really high. I suggest a number about half that. How about $85,000 a day? And let me remind you, daughter of the President of the United States, this is being done, President-elect of the United States, I should say, this is being done in honor of the President-elect, and should this come out, there's going to be some explaining to do. I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of how this played out. All in mid-December, so 4 weeks before the date.
I mean, what's striking here, and again, it's everything with this group of people, but just even setting it up this way is nuts. Like, if you talk to any lawyer or anyone, Republican, Democrat, whatever, like having the daughter representing the business interests of the hotel that's going to make money off the money you're raising for the new president is bonkers.
To celebrate his ascension to the highest office in the land. My co-reporter, Justin Elliott, and I were discussing this. What side of the transaction is she on here, actually? You could make the case that she's representing her father's inaugural, these party planners to celebrate her dad coming to office, but it seems from the emails that she's representing her company, her family's company.
You mentioned something important, which is that they, Obama and Bush had both put caps on donations, $50,000 for Obama, $100,000 for Bush, which are still enormous, but not like, you can't write like a $10 million check.
Right.
Do we know everything there is to know about who the donors are and where the money went?
I don't think so. I mean, we already know from the public record that a Ukrainian member of parliament successfully made a straw donation to the inaugural through, with the help of a guy named Sam Patton, a government relations specialist.
Who has pleaded guilty.
Who has pleaded guilty. So that is all on the public record now. I would like to find out what more there is. What I've heard from people who worked the inauguration is that Rick Gates was making some strange asks of them. For example, would they be willing to take payment not from the inaugural committee, but from a would-be donor directly? They didn't understand what that meant, but they regarded it as strange. And now that they know what happened with Rick Gates, they regard it as even stranger.
People told you this who worked for the committee?
Yes.
Ilya Marritz, great reporting.
Thanks
a lot. Good work.
Thanks very much.